So we finally got our first official gameplay reveal for Exodus, and well, my dear Mass Effect fans, we're gonna be eating good
Yeah,
with this
boy.
game. So in this video, I've summarized essentially everything we've learned about Exodus with this reveal, and I've also summarized some of the info we learned during the live reveal over on Carnage's live stream. That said, this video could turn out a little chaotic, still bear with me. Yes, pun intended. Well, alright, so in case you don't know anything about Exodus, what is it? Well, it's a sci-fi RPG that is coming out either next year or the year after that. We still don't have an exact timetable for when this game comes out. As this is a gameplay reveal, I'm personally guessing at a late 2025 release date, but take that with a grain of salt because we have no confirmation on that. Now, Exodus is headed by James Olin and Chad Robertson, two OG BioWare developers who are known for having worked on some of the older games at BioWare, such as Mass Effect, Knights of the Old Republic, etc. So if you're a fan of the older BioWare games, then, well, you're in for a good time here. And some bonus info is that none other than Drew Karpyshyn, who was the lead writer for Mass Effect as well as Knights of the Old Republic, is writing the story for Exodus. Now, according to James, the team that they put together to make this game were all handpicked individuals by James because of their sci-fi experience, so supposedly the team at Archetype are very specialized in specifically sci-fi. James also had essentially free reign of who to hire, and he knew of several people in the gaming industry and in writing that he wanted to bring in on the project. Now, in the gameplay reveal, we get to see June, who is the main character, or the player character. And according to Archetype, you will be able to choose to play as a female or a male June. James does tease that there will be character creation, however, he didn't want to go further into that during the live stream, but we'll probably learn more of that later on. Now, during the live stream, Carnage asked if the game will be linear or open world, or mission-based, and according to James, it will be missions-based, but with lots of optional areas and freedom of where you want to go first, and depending on where you go first, it will change things up, so if you do something else on another playthrough, your playthrough will simply look different. Now, asked specifically which games have been the prime inspiration or what games are the most like Exodus, and that would be Knights of the Old Republic, Mass Effect, and Dragon Age Origins. And again, this is not surprising because James Olin worked on all these three games. Now, James was also asked about progression, and there will be skill sets for both your character and your companions, as well as progression, presumably a skill tree for your gauntlet. You know, the glove that June is using in the trailer. Now, as you explore various worlds, you will be finding celestial technology, and when you bring these items back to various worlds, you will be making choices of what to do with said technology. And so the replayability for this game will apparently be pretty huge because depending on what you do with this technology, this will affect said civilization in various ways that will be different on your next playthrough. Now, they were also asked about companions, and we've now learned that you can bring 2 companions with you on missions. And yes, you can romance these companions, and of course we only saw 2 companions in the trailer, and there will obviously be more companions in the game. And yes, they will supposedly have rivalries, and friction will apparently be a huge thing. So think back to in Mass Effect 2 with Jack and Miranda, for example. Stuff like that will have a huge presence in this game.
Touch me and I will smear the walls with you, bitch!
Enough! Stand down, both of you.
Also, a big thing we learned was that the companions will change radically depending on what choices you make. Also, you can leave your companions behind on various planets, which will change lots of things for when you return later on in your playthrough. Because when you leave somebody behind, several years will pass for them, but for you, it will only be a few weeks, maybe days, or just a few months. And the longer it takes for you to come back to your companion, obviously they're just gonna get older. So essentially, Exodus will be playing on your emotions a lot, depending on what you do. And this was obviously something we saw not only in the first trailer for Exodus, but also from the recent Secret Level episode of Exodus, where we see the effects of time dilation throughout a 15-minute story. Now, some more things you might want to know is that the game is completely single player, there will be no online stuff. This gauntlet or glove that June is using in the trailer is called Livestone, and it's created by the Celestials, but it is a mix of organic and inorganic material to give the Traveler special abilities, which we see in the trailer. Now, let's talk a little bit about the gameplay we saw in the trailer. There weren't too much in the trailer, but I think we have a pretty good idea now of how the game will play, and it will play pretty similar to Mass Effect, I would say. It's a third-person shooter, and you can bring your squad with you on missions, and then you can command your squad members to do different things, such as become invisible and take care of enemies so you can stealth around them. I gotta mention, though, that this shot of June taking care of an enemy looked kind of wonky here with the enemy AI because it keeps staring into this wall or cube-like structure. And I'm not really sure what's going on here, if it detected his squad mate or if the AI is just wonky, but it looked a little weird. Now, this is not too much of a concern for me because this is obviously early footage of the game, but hopefully the AI is better than it looked like here. The game will feature a lot of uplifted animals, and what these are essentially sentient and intelligent animals. For example, we see June fighting against an uplifted bear here, and we can also see June using various platforms to get to higher ground by using a grappling hook, which will also be pretty important in terms of gameplay, because you will be grappling all over the place, which is really cool. Obviously, there are some really futuristic weapons here, and I really dig the design of these. And then obviously we have transforming weapons, because why not? Also, the melee combat seems to be pretty polished for now. I do hope that it's a little bit more advanced than just punching an enemy in the face, and that's it. In any case, I do think that it looks pretty good. Now, I'm not really sure what's going on in this first mission that they're showing, but since you're only with 2 people at this point, I would assume that this is pretty early on in the game, because we still have a couple more companions that we haven't seen yet, and we'll just have to wait for those reveals. And now there was one very specific question at the end of CohhCarnage's live stream, which I personally really appreciated, and the question was, if I like Mass Effect, how much will I like this game? To which James responded, really hard. Meaning that yes, this game is in all but name a spiritual successor to Mass Effect. In any case, that will have to do for this breakdown so far. I apologize for the chaotic nature of it because this wasn't scripted. But again, as I mentioned before, I will be making a longer video where we look at everything that we know about the lore and the gameplay and stuff like that. So remember to subscribe, because I will be covering Exodus extensively. Leave those comments down below as always, and thank you for watching. This has been Mr. Alton, signing out.